Hello and welcome back to InfoEd Center for Entrepreneurship's YouTube channel. I'm Aditi Tibrewal, a final year entrepreneurship student at Ashoka University. Today, we have with us Ananya and Anushree, the Maloo sisters, who are the co-founders of Nuutjob and also one of the star participants of Shark Tank India Season 1 who managed to get 3 investors on board. I know you're very intrigued by the name if you don't know about the startup already, so without a further ado, I welcome you Ananya and Anushree.
Hi Aditi, so excited to be a part of this and to talk to you today.
Hi Aditi, thanks for having us.
If it's not obvious already from the name, could you please tell us in brief what Nuutjob does?
So Nuutjob is actually a male intimate hygiene company, the genesis of which happened during the year 2020 when Anushree and I figured that the Indian segment, the Indian market segment was uh, not addressing a very evident problem, which was male intimate hygiene. And we figured, why not? Let's start something, because the market held so much, growth. I mean, there was so much growth opportunity for a segment like this, and which is why Anushi and I figured, yeah, why isn't anybody doing something like this? You're sitting on something that could be a gold mine if done right. And then we figured, why not? Why wait for somebody to take the chance when we get a chance to solve that problem? So then that's when we began our research to start a company like this, and actually started in the year of 2021. We're actually just a year old now, and I think for somebody who started at a very nascent stage like us, say last year we did Shark Tank India, and I think things for us completely um, I took a 180-degree turn. People understood what a segment like this is. There was a certain validation that came with it, in the sense that people were a little more serious about addressing a segment like this and accepting that, yes, why not? We need something like this. I think that is something that we'll obviously talk about as we progress into the interview. But yeah, I think there's a lot of validation and a lot of mutual understanding by people, especially the entrepreneurs at the moment, who see that this is something that could really blow up big if done right. So yeah.
Also, during the Shark Tank interview, you mentioned this very interesting incident of how you discovered the problem. Although I know you have talked about it already, but I would still want to hear that again for the people who might not know.
Sure. A really fun part, which a lot of people thought that was not really true, but it actually did happen, was during the lockdown, because Anushri and I were taking turns of cleaning up the bathroom because there was no help at that time, right? Because we'd sent our help to go back to his village, and we were the people who were actually taking care of the household chores. And because we were a little too lazy to wake up in the morning, we decided to take the chore that demanded attention at the last, okay, which was cleaning up bathrooms after everybody had a bath. So, Vanushi and I used to go in last, and then we figured that whenever we went in the bathroom, the fathers would gone in before, and then we figured ki what we saw was a pile of talcum powder. Now, talcum powder on the floor a little is still slippery. We had like a mine, like a buttload of talcum powder on the floor, and then that led to us slipping quite a few times. And then that led to us having a conversation with our fathers about why they were using a lot of talcum powder. Initially, to start off with, this is something that your fathers would also not talk about openly, right? They would shun the idea of, like, it's not your business, let it be. But I think because Anushri and I share a very interesting rapport with not just our fathers, but everybody in the family, we have that open dialogue with everybody in the house. So I think that really helped us break that initial barrier of being embarrassed to ask our parents about intimate hygiene, especially our fathers. It took a lot of guts for us to ask, but as curious cats we did ask that question. But it took a little more guts for our fathers to also admit that this was an issue that they were facing. To men to come out and tell people about an intimate hygiene issue is very hush hush. It's usually spoken about within men, but I think kudos to our fathers who actually did have that conversation with their daughters. And I think that is something that we still really appreciate. So Anushri and I figured ki yaar, इसका कोई substitute नहीं है क्या talcum powder का. So we figured that there was nothing in the market that really catered to, keeping you dried down there. And we figured internationally there were lots of brands that were catering to manscaping per se, grooming your intimates and keeping them hygienic. And we figured, why not here in India? Because it's hot, say 75% of the year, which leads to a lot of sweating down there. And men, as a biology lesson, also, if I might tell you, they sweat a lot down there because they've got a lot of sweat glands. So that leads to them being a little uncomfortable down there, constantly maybe itching, constantly maybe adjusting their underwear or whatever. So we figured, why not get a product like this to India? What could have been a really easy decision for Anushka and I कि हम लोग सीधा हमारे parents के लिए वो parents या fathers के लिए वो product ले आते US से. It would have been just a problem solver for us. It's just a me mentality. But what we thought was a we mentality, where we thought, why not bring it to people here in India and start something like this. Nahi hua, but at least we gave it a try because we saw a problem. I think that as an entrepreneur is very important. If you see a problem and you think that this could really bring about a solution to not just you, but to others who are in need, then I think take the plunge sometimes. Yeah.
So was there a point when you decided that you want to be an entrepreneur? Because this V mindset is a very entrepreneurial mindset. So do you have a background like that? Or like, how did that come in?
So we come from a family like where they have businesses running from last 30 years. So so we come from a business family, of course. So कहीं ना कहीं वो blood में है, but we never thought, we both wanted to start something of our own together. So somewhere I thought that I'll join family business, or I'll take it ahead. And then Ananya was doing, she was in different fields. She was doing PR for in Bombay and everything. But lockdown happened. We came together again, and then we saw this problem, and then we thought that let's start something and let's do something, because you don't know lockdown में कुछ करना था. तो कई लोग ने होम बेकरी चालू कर दी, कहीं शेफ बन गए, कहीं they started off their own gifting items or something. So Ananya and I started with a brand for Male Intimate Hygiene. So it was not planned anywhere, and it just happened, and it happened for me. So yeah.
Coming to the fact that you guys started together, so how is it working with your sister, like being co-founders with your sister?
I think working with a sister really is a plus point because, Anushree and I, because we have both been brought up in a joint family, we're practically twins. She's just 15 days older to me. So we've grown up together. So there's there's a certain similar value system that has been instilled in us. Also, seeing our parents, seeing our fathers work together in a family business, we see what are the things that entail working with family, but we know there's a lot of strength to strength that comes with it. Going forward, starting something with my sister, we had it right कि हमारी priorities same है. When we started a company, it's very important to see what is your ideology of the company going forward, what are your priorities. And when Anushree and I began it, we decided that we wanted to bootstrap it with our own money. We didn't want to ask anybody for anybody else for money. See, that again, we had a very proper synergy कि हमें ये करना है, हमें ये साथ में करना है, और ये कैसे करना है. Now, Anushree has very different skill sets as I do. So Anushree takes care of things that she's very good at, and I take care of things that we're very good at. But the thing that really brings us together is the communication, because I know what's going on in her set of things that she takes care of, and she knows what I'm taking care of. So there's a certain communication that goes forward, but both of us know that if we work on our strengths together, we'll definitely take the company ahead. Also, if I had started this company with somebody else, there might have been, अगर कुछ भी हो जाता, so then if there was a break in a shift in priorities, a shift in whatever they had in terms of the company, sometimes friendships and sometimes those things don't last. The thing with Anushree, she is my family. वो गुस्सा भी होगी तो घर पे मेरे पास ही आने वाले, या मैं घर पे उसके पास ही आने वाली हूँ. So and Anushree and I, since childhood, we've got that thing that we usually sort it out. If we fought in the morning, then we're good by the end of the day. right? So we don't really, have that issue. But, we always have that communication going because, Anushree and I have grown up together. We've grown up with similar things that we wanted to do. So I think that really sets the ball rolling for us as entrepreneurs and co-founders for a company, because we know what this really means for us, not just us as business people, but for us as a family, and where this goes. So I think that's very important to know that. And I think that's very important when you work with your family going forward. Also, there are no working hours, right? So if you're working with somebody else, there are no working. You let them have their privacy. Yeah, she's working with me. She's staying with me. So there's like, if there's a very weird idea that even strikes at 2 o'clock, so I can go up to her and tell her, Anushri, listen, this is what I thought of, or she can come and tell me about it. So I think that's the ease of conversations, ease of doing business also. So yeah, I think that's what entails working with a family member.
Another thing that I was really intrigued was, how did you have this conversation with your family that you want to pursue this? Because it's such a taboo topic still. So how was that like?
It's a very fun topic. She'll tell you.
I think so. Initially, when we wanted to talk about this, they were like, you won't understand. मतलब, this is not like ये कोई बात करने की बात नहीं है, and something जो parents से dodge करते हैं. But again, uh, we kept on asking, like, like, because it was summertime, that the usage was more itself. But I think we kept on asking, and then finally the conversation happened, and then we figured out that need hai, matlab, जैसे it's easy to convince a woman that you need a product like this, that you start using intimate hygiene products because you have your periods, you have you maintain pH balance, and the constant pressure that you need to be healthy, or वो एक मेडिकल टर्म से भी वो लोग एसोसिएट कर लेते हैं, दैट दिस विल लीड टू डिफरेंट प्रॉब्लम्स, यूट्रस, ये वो, मतलब कितने इश्यूज दे कम अप विथ. And I think for male, they not just with our fathers, we tried talking to our male friends also initially, and they were like, why do you think we need a product like this? Like, अभी तक के चल ही रहा है. So ये अभी तक के चल ही रहा है वाला चीज, we were like, ये चल रहा है, but it's not compulsion that you have to, live with this. That, you will scratch balls, you will have, fungal infection हो गया, and I think वो point पे लाना and to convince them was a task for us, that like, you actually need a product like this. So conversation to hui, but it was a task for us, and with parents also, like, even my mothers were they were worried about that, why you two want to get in this field, and you are at a marriageable age, and coming from a Marwadi family, so why do you want to get into all this, and don't post your photos, and don't get associated with a brand, something like this, catering to male intimate hygiene, जो बात करने में भी, to talk to your grandparents and parents also difficult था. So, but I think post Shark Tank India, I think people have taken this problem seriously, and they could relate, and they texted us that, thank you for getting something like this, we needed something like this, ये problem था, और इसका आप solution लेके आए हो, and and कितनी और चीजें they have asked us that, ये मेरे को होता है तो can I use this, और ये मुझे होता है, तो ये भी हम लोगों को काफी पता चला कि और भी इसके बियॉन्ड भी काफी चीजें जो मेल्स suffer करते हैं, but they don't like to talk about it.
And also, how did you approach your initial customers? Since you're two women pitching the idea, what kind of challenges did you face?
So when we did begin our, when we started Nuutjob, the initial, customers were based on word of mouth, right? We had our friends who bought the product, who really liked it, and who vouched for it. I think the initial initial product sales were based on word of mouth. Like, okay, these girls have started something of their own. But what really got the ball rolling for us was when we listed our product on Amazon, and within a month of it being on Amazon, we did 100 orders. Now, those orders, you cannot really manipulate somebody to buy a product, right? Okay, this is what it is. What really led to it was people searching keywords. They came in searching keywords and they bought the product. So definitely that validated our idea of ki there's a need for a product like this, but what really lacks in the market is education. So I think that is what really happened. And even now, we work on people associating us with a problem that they have. Like, if they've seen something, then this is what they want. Again, see, we're not a medical product, we're not a medicinal product to begin with. We're not an itch guard, like if you've got a ringworm, then this is what you use. It's a habitual product, like what Anushree said. You put it into your daily routine so that you don't have the bad fortune of maybe getting a fungal infection or a ringworm. So it's something, just consider this as an in between. Like, say, if you just gargle your mouth, and the other option is you go to you go to a dentist directly if you've got a cavity. The option of a toothpaste is not there. So we, as a product, are offering to be like a toothpaste where you build a regular routine, so you don't have to go to a dentist going forward, or going to a doctor in our case going forward. So it's a routine that we really want to build. So I think that is what it is. And for us, the initial customers came through, especially on Amazon, came through searching the problems that they had, and we were really good with the keywords that we.
Since you mentioned Shark Tank, another question that I had was, how did you plan your pitch? And if you were to look back to it, is there anything you would like to change?
Nothing that we would like to change.
All we wanted that if we could have negotiated, that's the only regret we have, that we couldn't negotiate there. But the pitch happened that we were trying to, introduce our brand monotonously, that ये Nuutjob ये है, मैं और अनन्या ये करते हैं, and we have a background of this, that, and ये. It sounded very that we are
it sounded very vanilla, बहुत plain लग
vanilla,
रहा था.
and वो script याद करके हम बोल रहे, it was very plain. It was so we thought that it's not working, it's not happening. Then my uncle, Ananya's father, came up with the idea that why don't you two enter like guys, and you scratch balls, so that way you associate with the brand, you personally associate with the brand, and you make people associate quicker than before you start explaining. Matlab, you will people will question that what are these two girls doing, that on a show they're scratching their balls and they're entering or something like that. So this was the idea, and Ananya and I were not very like, firstly we were not okay that like, should we do it, like it's gonna be on a television, people are gonna watch it, and it's gonna be there forever. But then we thought that if this is for the brand, if people will associate better, and if we can relate this personally, that like the founders only are associating with the problem, so I think that works better. And it worked, it worked magically for us, and people loved it at our pitch. Like even with the Sony team, when we were rehearsing before the shoot, like you need to rehearse like how you are entering and whatever, because it's a reality show. So they had gone mad that we love your pitch. And Ananya and I wanted to keep it a little secret on the set also, that we don't want people to know how we are entering. So we were very, when people are not around, that is the time we used to practice, that we don't want people. And we didn't tell at our home also that how we are entering. Only my uncle knew how we are gonna pitch.
We wanted it to be a surprise. For people to really enjoy it, needs to be something that comes to you immediately.
So
right?
we didn't tell our friends and family also that this is how we're gonna pitch. They just thought, okay, log aayenge, bolenge, but
yeah, it worked really well, because I remember when I was watching the episode, I was really intrigued in those 5 seconds. Oh, what are they gonna pitch about? So that worked really well. Now I have a second round to this. So it's a rapid fire, and you both have 10 seconds each to answer. Okay. So question 1: describe entrepreneurship in one word.
Challenging.
I would say it's growth in yourself, like like how you yourself you want to grow, and basically it changes, like it develops. A person develops.
One advice to budding entrepreneurs.
Uh,
I would say never lose hope.
yeah. I'd
Even
say,
if people try to pull you down, never lose hope. Like you just fall down, get up again, and start walking, start running again.
I'd say take you know take chances. Nothing's very simple. If you do things the simple way, you're not really developing as a person. And I think take those chances, make those leaps. So yeah, do that.
How do you deal with failures?
Say, I think for me, I work towards turning my no's into yeses. So if I failed once, I'll make sure that I work so hard that I'll convert it into a success going forward. So for me, I take it very personally in converting no's into yeses. So yeah.
I would take a lesson learned.
What keeps you going?
Money. I'm being so honest right here.
Yeah, I feel the same. Money and that bring a change.
Yeah.
In the society.
One learning from your go on.
Diplomatic answer de rahe hain, madam.
No, it's nice. I have both versions now. I have a diplomatic answer. I have an honest answer. Next question. One learning from your journey so far.
Nothing comes easy. Like I mentioned that when I thought that when people run their businesses, you're your own boss, you can do things at your own leisure, but that's not true. You need to do everything. Peon se leke partner tak ke sab karna. So yeah.
I think for me, I think you have to believe in yourself, believe in your brand that you can do it. But if you believe in yourself, that comes out. If you're convincing people, if you're talking to somebody, they actually know that how serious you are for the brand, for your company. So I think all you need to is have the confidence, and you just need to believe that you keep going. That the push what is needed. I think we all work like when you get a push. Yeah.
Last question. The biggest challenge you faced?
Biggest challenge that I face for Nuutjob was convincing people to believe that this is a valid segment, and to
challenge it was that people said that you don't have the part.
आपके पास तो part ही नहीं है, आप कैसे brand you don't have the male
those were the
genitalia.
So those were the comments we came up with.
And Anushree and I very proudly say that it took 2 vaginas to come to this ball game. Nobody really took nobody really took change into their hands before that. So I think we're really glad.
Thank you, Ananya and Anushree, for such an insightful discussion. I wish you all the very best for this difficult yet worthwhile journey of bringing a change and creating an impact. I'm sure you are an inspiration to a lot of entrepreneurs as well as women entrepreneurs in specific. So thank you. And to everybody who is watching, stay tuned because we have many more interesting podcasts coming in your way.